Thank you. Let's call this meeting to order of the Sacramento City Council. Please call the roll.
Thank you. Councilmember Kaplan.
Here.
Councilmember Dickinson.
Here.
Vice Mayor Talamontes.
Here.
Councilmember Pleckybom.
Here.
Councilmember Maple.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Here.
Councilmember Jennings.
Here.
Councilmember Vang.
Here.
And Mayor Riccardi.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Okay, nothing to report out. Councilmember Kaplan, can you please lead us in the land acknowledgement and pledge of allegiance?
Absolutely. Please rise if you are able. In honor of Sacramento's indigenous people and tribal lands, to the original people of this land, the Nisenan people, the Southern Maidu, the Valley and Plains Miwok, the Patwin-Wintun people, and the people of Wilton Rancheria, Sacramento's only federally recognized tribe. May we acknowledge and honor the Native people who came before us and still walk beside us today on these ancestral lands by choosing to gather today in the active practice of acknowledgement and appreciation for Sacramento's indigenous people's histories, contributions, and lives. Please remain standing. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Closed session report?
Madam City Attorney, do we have a report out from closed session?
The mayor and council met in closed session to discuss with their labor negotiator the status of labor negotiations, and there's nothing to report out. Neither is a report out from the performance evaluations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We turn to special presentations now.
Yes.
First one is Black History Month, presented by Councilmember Jennings.
Thank you very much. To all in the audience, it is my pleasure to speak to the celebration of Black History Month, this month of February. And so just to give you a little bit of historical background, this month is an annual celebration of achievements by African Americans and a time to recognize their central role in U.S. history. This event grew out of Negro History Week, in case you didn't know that, which took place in 1929. It was the brainchild of Harvard-trained historian Carter G. Woodson and other prominent Americans. Originally known as Negro History Week, as I said, by the late 1960s, thanks in part to the Civil Rights Movement, Negro History Week evolved into Black History Month. President Gerald Ford officially recognized Black History Month in 1976, calling upon the public to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans. So with that, we honor Black History Month here in the City Council, and we have a resolution honoring Black History Month, and we have some of our groups that are here. And I'll just read a few of the whereases in the resolution because it's a little long. So whereas Black History Month is a time to acknowledge the deep and enduring influence of Black history on our city and nation, recognizing the contributions of Black leaders, innovators, change makers who have shaped society to countless ways. Whereas throughout Black History Month, numerous organizations across Sacramento are housing events to foster learning, unity, and celebration, including Underground Books, Let's Read Oak Park, and Black Authors Talk, encouraging literacy and amplifying Black voices. Celebration Arts, University of Pacific, Robla School District. I hear you're in the house, right? Robla? Yeah, AAELC, Jack and Jill, St. Hope Public Schools, Greater Sacramento Urban League, LGBT Community Center, Roberts Family Development Center, Sojourner Truth African Heritage Center, and many, many more. So they're all in here. So therefore, let it be resolved by the mayor and the city council of the city of Sacramento. We do proudly recognize this month of February as Black History Month and reaffirm our commitment to advancing racial equity, fostering economic opportunities, and ensuring that Black voices in history are uplifted and acknowledged.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Jennings. Councilmember Vang.
Thank you, Mayor. As we celebrate Black History Month, I also just want to take this moment. I know we're acknowledging all the amazing organization in our city, but I want to take a moment to just acknowledge Councilmember Rick Jennings as well. He's incredibly humble, and as we celebrate Black History Month, I'm just so grateful for his leadership, and also just want to let him know that I want to just take this moment to center him and his leadership in the city and everything that he's done as well, and that when we think about Black History Month, it's not just on you to carry, but it's on all of us to carry, and that it's not just 1 month, but we're celebrating Black history leaders, voices, and all their contributions 365 days a year. And so really just wanted to say happy Black History Month to you, Councilmember Jennings.
Thank you.
Yes.
So if you honor Black History Month and you'd like to come down and be a part of the celebration here in City Hall, I ask you to come on down so we can get a group photo.
One sec, Rick.
Yes, sir.
Yes. The mayor would like to say a couple words.
Oh, please.
Okay. Is that all right? Yes. Yeah. So thank you, Councilmember Jennings. This is a long-standing tradition to recognize Black History Month here at our City Council chambers. I first remember doing this with Councilmember Pennell and Hammond as a young council member here up on this dais. And, February is our shortest month. We have 28 days. Every 4 years, of course, 29 days. And we celebrate Black History this month, but we want to recommit that Black history isn't just a month, it's U.S. history. The Black experience is the U.S. experience, and certainly honored that we follow that tradition here, have a significant African-American population, have that significant African-American representation on our city council, our city commissions, our county board of supervisors, our school boards. And this is our time to recommit to the Black experience and remember families and leaders across our country and who are doing incredible work here in Sacramento, which you just identified, and to further re-up our work on this important topic. And as you mentioned, Councilmember Vang, the racial equity lens is something that we want to think about every day throughout the year, not just the 28, 29 days in February. So thank you for bringing this to the council once again. And anybody who would like to join us up here in the picture, please come on down.
I would also ask our city staff to come join us too, as well, in the audience as well.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, next special presentation?
So our next special presentation is Heart Health Awareness Month, presented by Councilmember Pleckbaum.
February is also Heart Health Awareness Month. Please join me in reminding your loved ones to check in on heart health. Next week, next Tuesday, in the City Hall, we'll have a free blood pressure screening in conjunction with Sutter and the American Heart and Lung Association. So please remember, heart disease is still the #1 cause of death in the United States, and we need your help to find early detection and treatment. So remind your loved ones, this is Heart Health Awareness Month.
And what time will they be in the
Lunchtime, 11 to 1.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember.
So Mayor, we turn to the consent calendar now. And I just want to say good evening and welcome to the Sacramento City Council meeting. Members of the public who wish to address the council should complete a speaker slip, which can be found in the back of the room. Speaker slips need to be turned into the clerk prior to the beginning of each item. We will no longer accept speaker slips after the item begins, and you will have 2 minutes to address the council, and the timer will be on the screens behind me. So that everyone has the opportunity to address the council, members of the public are asked to observe the rules of decorum. Council rules of procedure outline decorum expected in chambers and can be found on our website. A copy is in the back of the room and is summarized on the back of the speaker slip. For instance, use of swear words, yelling from the audience, physically threatening conduct, and displays of disrespect are discouraged. The presiding officer will request that a person cease disruptive conduct, and if not immediately stopped, the presiding officer will direct the person to leave the council meeting. This meeting is being video streamed and can be viewed live or later on the city's website. And if you need a parking validation, that can also be picked up from the clerk at the front of the room. So we turn to the consent calendar. Do council members have any questions, comments on any items? Councilmember Dickinson?
Thank you. I just want to make a quick comment on item 3. And I wanted to thank John Coville and Brian Wong for working with me on the language of the debt management policy, specifically to make some modifications to the language as it pertains to enhanced infrastructure financing districts, which I think makes it more reasonable as an item to consider as we have those come before us. So I just wanted to again express my thanks for them working with me on that.
And Councilmember, does that conclude your comments, or did you want to make comments in a moment?
That's it.
Perfect. And I have one speaker, Mac Worthy, on item 2.
Grants and bonds. You can't keep grants and bonds. That's the reason I tell you, $77 million deficit mean nothing to a nonprofit organization when they lean back on hidden money or stolen money. Now, this program here says special program. 9 says Department of Youth, Parks, and Community Enrichment. You has nothing of the charter to own this, from what we heard of children this morning. While you had nothing to charter on this. People, it's ridiculous. I just don't understand. That's reading so much in the paper that misuse of money. Somebody gonna go to jail here. Ain't understand about it. Somebody gonna go to jail because you can't keep doing this. These people should have been here to the meeting this morning. And look, then let's come on here. Youth. It youth the same thing as children. You just change the words. Then you're going to say charter. As much as I've been saying about the charter need revising, you put a charter to that fund and you put it anywhere. Now this grant, what ties this grant away from general funds? Nothing. You use it the way you want to use it, just to launch a boat in the water. This don't enrich no neighborhood. This is the way you're going to survive off grants and bonds. Can this money be put somewhere and make interest instead of misused as the way you done the children funds? Wake up, people.
Thank you for your comments. Mayor, I have no more public commenters and no other council members signed up to make comments, so we can entertain a motion. So Mayor, we have a motion by Councilmember Maple and a second by Councilmember Pleckbaum.
Dickinson want to talk, or you did?
You already did.
Yeah, okay. All those in favor, please say aye. 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 Any noes or abstentions? Hearing none, item passes unanimously.
Thank you, Mayor. We turn to the discussion calendar. The first item is adoption of a proposed prior year savings policy.
Right. Good evening, Mayor, council members, and members of the public. I'm Pete Coletto. I'm the city's finance director. And so before you today are some financial policies that we really started discussion about during last year's budget process, ways that we can look to address our city's financial challenges. Oh, sure.
So, Mr. Coletto, I greatly apologized. I just went past our public hearings. I know they're both very brief. So thank you, council members, for catching my error. Let's move back to item number 4, which is housing and dangerous buildings, case fees, findings of fact for special assessments. And then I believe, did you want to make 4 and 5 separately presentations?
I'm going to present them together, but we'll vote separate.
Perfect. So item 5 is code compliance, case fees and penalties, findings of fact for special assessments. So I hear the presentations will be made together, but we'll need separate votes, correct?
Correct, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, Council. I'm Sean Bartos, the Code Enforcement Manager with the Community Development Department. The items before you are the neighborhood code compliance and housing and dangerous buildings, case fees and penalties for special assessments and/or a personal obligation. For item 4, the housing and dangerous building case fee staff report lists an amended total of 158 properties with a total of $166,307.96 of unpaid fees scheduled for liens against their properties. 5 properties listed in Exhibit A of the staff report have been removed from the report and are identified as line numbers 3, 42 and 43, 210, 223, and 311. For item 5, the Community Development Department administrative penalties and neighborhood code compliance case fee staff reports list an amended total of 512 properties with the sum of $1,157,064.47 of unpaid fees and penalties scheduled for special assessment and/or personal obligations against their properties. 15 of these properties listed in Exhibit A of the staff report have been removed, and they are line numbers 36 and 37, 167, 201, 216, 281, 323, 393, 412, 462, 519, 580, 581, 604, 644, 647, 675, and 853. Staff recommends that the City Council adopt the 2 resolutions separately as amended to allow the city to collect the unpaid fees by placing special assessments and levies or personal obligations upon these properties. Thank you.
Mayor, I'd like to open and close the public hearing for item number 4.
Motion is second to open and close.
And move the item.
For the record, I have no public comments on this item.
Okay. We have no members queued up, no public comment. We have motion is second to open and close the public hearing and move the item. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any noes or abstentions? Hearing none, the item passes.
And for item 5, I'd like to open and close the public hearing and move the item.
And again, I have no members of the public signed up to speak on this item.
Okay, we have a motion is second to open and close the public hearing and move the item. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any noes or abstentions? Hearing none, item passes 9-0.
So now we move on to item number 6, adoption of a proposed prior year savings policy. I apologize for the error. I was just really excited to get to this agenda item.
We're all very excited for financial policies, so
Thank you.
I understand completely, Madam Clerk. So good evening, everyone. I'm Pete Coletto, the Finance Director for the city. And so, yeah, the policies that are before you today, we really started this conversation during last year's budget process when we were looking at addressing the city's fiscal issues. And we continued this through budget and audit earlier this year. So we're really looking at some balanced and measured ways to address the city's fiscal challenges. One that I know you are all very well aware of is our structural budget deficit, which we'll be talking more about during the budget process this year, but our expenses are just outpacing our revenues. Last year, to close the budget gap, we suspended some contributions to our economic uncertainty reserve. This is our rainy day fund for when there's a recession. And so it's currently under the minimum set by council policy. And then we have very large unfunded liabilities that we're looking for ways to address. So the graphic or the visual we used last year to illustrate our unfunded liabilities were mountains. So our biggest unfunded liability is our unfunded pension liability. We have $1.4 billion in unfunded pension liabilities, as well as another $200 million of unfunded, they're called OPEB benefits, they're really retiree health benefits. And on top of that, we have $1.4 billion that was identified in our capital improvement program that are unfunded. And as you remember, last year was the first year we really started to articulate our unfunded capital funding gap. I'm not going to read all of this, but you all know when you talk to your colleagues up and down the state, we are not alone. Every other big city in California is facing a similar issue, but we're also not helpless. So these are challenges that we can meet. We can't do it all at once. Those numbers are too big. They're bigger than our budget. But if we look at adopting policies, we can solve these things over time. And so what we're proposing is a policy to use one-time prior year-end savings to pay down our unfunded liabilities, but really balancing that with our need to balance our budget. What we're proposing is a prioritization system. So to the extent we have to the extent we have savings from the prior year, the first priority would go towards balancing our budget if we're projecting a budget deficit. And council can also consider strategic one-time investments that would result in a net positive return on city revenues. Once that is done, the second priority would be getting our economic uncertainty reserve back to the minimum balance. So not to council's target, but just back to the minimum. And then if there are any remaining funds, we're proposing it would be split in 1/3 into a new fund dedicated to paying down our unfunded pension liability, 1/3 into a new fund to address our capital and deferred maintenance needs, and then 1/3 that would be available for one-time uses, so pilot programs, other things like that. Because that's a lot of words and I like visuals, this is just a chart on how it would work. These numbers are made up, they're hypothetical. I made them up to make the math really easy. But this is a scenario where we have $20 million of prior year savings. We have a $5 million projected budget deficit in the coming year, and the economic uncertainty reserve is $6 million under the council minimum. And this just shows how the funds would flow. So the first 5 would go to closing the budget gap, the next 6 to refilling the EUR, and then $3 million each for pension liabilities, capital and deferred maintenance, and other one-time uses. So why are we doing this? What are the advantages? Well, one is it's a fundamental budget principle. You want to align your one-time funding sources with one-time uses. This will give us a dedicated funding source for some of our critical infrastructure needs. It'll stabilize and enhance our fiscal position. So just so council knows, we currently pay more every year to pay down our unfunded pension liability than what our quote-unquote normal pension cost is. So our pension liability for this year, our unfunded pension liability, we're making around a $108 million payment, where our pension normal cost payment is budgeted at just $70 million. So it's really a way to get us that long-term stability. These policies are viewed very favorably by credit ratings agencies. So to the extent we want to maintain or enhance our credit rating, which will lower our borrowing costs, this would help with that. It gives us that flexibility, so we're not saying, hey, we're going to put money away to pay unfunded pension when we're looking at budget cuts. So we have to solve that budget problem first. And this only applies to the one-time prior year savings. So, council would continue to have complete discretion to appropriate any ongoing fiscal surpluses through the budget process, however council sees fit. And that's the end of my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Do we have public comment on this item?
I have one speaker on this item, Mr. McWorthy.
Oh, boy. Somebody get up and say something about finance, because this is critical shit here. This is the most lionest group of people I've seen in my life. What would be any difference in saying we're going to set up a trust fund so the public will know where their money is? Borrowing. They're only going to charge you a 6, then they kick you a 3. That would be the best way for this city to get out of debt. But when you're going to take this money instead of that, say, oh, this is our idea, where is the expert mind on this type of money? This is the people money you talk about you're going to set up a policy on, and the public has no input whatsoever. You don't have the ability to do this. So why are you doing it? Where is the expert, the investors in Sacramento? It's known to see, you'll sit there, you'll see what's going on. Sit there, you'll see what's going on. You come in here as a deficit, you come in here and people are almost ready to go to jail. Right here, same people that you say going to do this is some of the same people that have abuse. Look at the B. That's all you have to do. Just look at the B. Hey, B ain't lying. But yet still you're going to tell her we got a policy to have a savings? Go to a trust fund, people. I know when Sacramento had an emergency housing, only $500,000 in the trust fund. That's the best thing to do, people, where you know what you borrow against, kick you out a little, and you can use that and you can move it down the line on a trust fund, as long as you're paying the interest. But I don't know, people. It's sad.
Thank you for your comments. Mayor, I have no more speakers on this agenda item.
Thank you. Councilmember Guerra.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank staff for their work here, and also to the chair for helping us with this process here on setting a good policy that'll help us also improve our credit rating here. The only, I want to just thank the staff for trying to wordsmith my thought process through the committee, but I think it went a little too far on the wordiness. And so what I will do is I'll make a motion to approve the resolution with the change that on section 3.2 under funding priorities on the second paragraph, that after the word investment, so council may consider strategic one-time investment, put a period there. And then and leave it there, and then delete the remaining of the sentence, and that gives the council more flexibility to make those decisions. But it's a consideration of one-time investments, and I think that's appropriate because we don't want to do any ongoing investments or any continuing funding. But particularly mid-year budget, we want to do one-time investments. But give the council more flexibility to do that, and I'll make that motion. Leave it there.
Okay, we have a second to that motion?
I'll be seconding that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Councilmember Maple.
All right, thank you very much. And I also really appreciate the report. I gave more detailed comments in budget and audit, so I'll be brief here, but just really appreciate the staff for thinking ahead. These are challenging issues that are periodic, and we're always thinking of ways that we can pay down our deferred maintenance and stay on top of our pension liabilities while still being able to do the things that we need to do as a body to be responsive to our constituents. And so I think I agree with the language that Councilmember Guerra suggested, so I'll second the motion. Thank you.
We have a motion, a second. No further comments. All those in favor, please say aye. 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 Any noes or abstentions? Hearing none, item passes 8-0.
Councilmember Pluckybaum is absent. So, Mayor, we move to item 7, approval of specified salary range increases for career unrepresented classifications below Department Director in Units 20, 21, and 22, adjustment to the salary schedule, approval of the employer-employee relations policy, and approval of the personnel resolution covering unrepresented officers and employees.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have a very brief presentation on this item. Typically, most of this would be done on consent, but this item is listed as a discussion item because Government Code 54953 requires that we must orally report a summary of the recommendation for final action on salaries, salary schedules, and compensation paid in the form of fringe benefits of a local agency executive. Item 3.9, longevity pay, applies to all unrepresented employees who have completed 17 years of service, excluding the city manager, city attorney, city clerk, city treasurer, city auditor, and the director of public safety and accountability. The longevity pay includes department heads and assistant city manager. However, it will not be implemented for the assistant city managers until January 10th of 2026. And the other item that requires an oral report is item 8.3, which provides a uniform allowance for the police safety personnel, which includes the department head, the chief of police. These are the only items in the report that fall under Government Code 54953 requiring an oral report. And then I do want to just clarify, I've had some questions on how many people this affects. So I did some quick note. When you talk about unrepresented staff, people generally don't know who you're talking about. It's a total of about, I would say, less than 100 employees in the city. The current changes affects 15 classifications for a total of 47 employees in the city. So that's the end of my presentation. Do you have any questions? Anyone?
Looks like Councilmember Kaplan.
Thank you, Shelley. Just a couple of questions wanting to ask. Was this something that should have been taken last year?
Yes.
So can you explain what the delay is in this being, why it wasn't taken last year? And
Yes, best practice. So the unrepresented resolution is something that we update generally after our management unit comes to close on their negotiations. And it should have come around January or February of last year when our management group closed. And it's to keep parity with the other. The only reason people in this document are unrepresented is the nature of the confidentiality of their jobs and the negotiations that they do in their job. And so therefore they are not represented. It's a very small group of people and it should have definitely come last year. My goal in the future would be to have it come within a week or two of any closing of SCXCA negotiations.
can you just, as you said this, thank you for saying it affects around 100 people. Is that the total amount in the unrepresented unit is approximately 100?
Yes, it's about 100 of our 5,000 employees.
And can you give an example or two of, besides our assistant city managers, who that would?
Yes. Titles.
Yeah, just
Okay.
random titles, who that might relate to.
Yes, it's our community engagement manager, our council representatives, deputy police and fire chiefs, executive assistants for both the city manager and the mayor and council, human resources managers, labor relations staff, our staff in the Office of Public Safety Accountability, and the principal budget analyst in budget.
Thank you, because I think having that background, many of us on council are a little leery because when these items come, of at least not asking questions and understanding who this applies to. So how many employees, because in here it says there will be receiving a 2% raise, because we are in the middle of negotiations, we are in the middle of a budget deficit, I think it behooves us, while I hear you say that these would normally go on consent, I would say while we're having a budget deficit, it's something that maybe we should not just pass on consent, but ask a couple of questions. How much to our deficit does this add?
Technically, there's no added budget increase to this because the 2% is only to the classification title. It's not to actual people. So if departments have it in their current budget, they can certainly give an increase after this is passed, but no one is getting an increase because of that 2% increase in the range.
So I can just say, for example, if I was, or my district director was at the top of the classification and the classification is getting a 2% bump, then that means if I wanted to, I could authorize them to get the 2% bump because
Correct.
that's within the authority of my office.
Correct.
And then what is the reasoning, because I think we do need to have this discussion, for the exclusion of the officers, the charter officers out of the longevity bonus?
A couple things, just prior direction from council, specifically the council rules and procedures say that, actually, let me just read it. I don't want to try to summarize it. Council rules and procedure, item 7A1 specifically states that the city manager and city clerk shall develop the agenda for the council meetings in consultation with the mayor and/or vice mayor, with the exception of agenda items involving compensation of charter officers and any personnel that report to the council, which may only be brought forward with initial approval of the mayor or recommendation of the majority of the Personnel and Public Employees Committee.
So basically, one, it's council rules, but they are our employees, so that it's up to council to have those negotiations and then bring it back. So if we, as a council body, decide to offer longevity, that is within our authority, but not within the authority of this.
Correct. I mean, I consider myself, as part of the city manager, and that is forbidden for us to bring that forward. So yes, you can certainly bring it forward.
Just wanting to make it clear, because I also think that then that is a policy conversation that we on council should have, because should we be punishing our charter officers that we actually grow in the city? That if they come from the city and spend 17, 20, 25 years, should they be treated differently? Or is that something we want to use as a case-by-case basis? But something else for us as colleagues to think about as we start the evaluation process. And then I hear you on this. I just want to express discomfort at employees who are highly compensated, that, we're heading into a budget deficit. We don't know whether people are going to be losing their jobs or not. It gives me angst that people who make above $150,000, and that's my arbitrary number, might be getting a raise versus those lowest paid. And is that a conversation that should head to budget and audit? I don't know, but I'm just saying that does not make me comfortable taking that all in a lump sum when we really have to look at our low. Can we separate them? I don't know. I'm open to separating, but I will leave it up to further council conversation.
Clarification from our city manager.
I'd just like to clarify, I think that, Shelley said I can't bring anything forward. Pursuant to the council rules, if it's recommended by a majority of the PMPE committee, absolutely we'll take the direction of the committee and bring that forward for you. Just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, and yes, I wanted to make sure that we understood that both the mayor and PMP could bring that forward. And it should be taken separately, but I think there is a consideration to recognize that we do want people in our agency to stay with the agency as long as possible and grow in their career here as well. So I think that's an important conversation to have. And how we do that, I think, the process is more important on how we do that, so that if we grow our own and they decide to become leaders in those charter offices, that we can consider that. But they should be separate, I think, now from those that are on the unrepresented side. I'm open to this conversation here and this question about how we differentiate those in the unrepresented category, because it is true. I mean, we have folks in this category, in this unrepresented category, who are, some are making 35 a year, I think, 36 a year is the lowest number on the non-exempt, and those that are making above 200, almost 300 in the category. And so then we're lumping them all together. And I don't know what the mode is, like what's the grouping? Is it department directors? Is it ACMs? And I do think that they should be separate. How we do that, I'm not sure, because I don't know the number of those that are in that level. And so maybe there should be a discussion or a conversation, at least, about how we bifurcate those classifications and how we treat them separately, because a 2% for someone who's making 36 a year is much different than someone who's doing 300 a year, So that very much is. And I don't want to delay this too long. Maybe I'm not comfortable with going at it tonight, but I also don't want to delay this too long because those are at the 36 a year. I worry about this delay, So let me. I don't have any recommendation for the body right now, but I'd like to hear my colleagues on what some thoughts are how to move forward on this item.
Vice Mayor Talamantes, but before you get to Vice Mayor, can I just interject so we don't get lost in this? Can you clarify the Mayor Pro Tem's question as far as the positions and is upper management and department directors, are those part of this? Because I thought that was not.
They are not part of this.
Not part of the case.
We specifically excluded directors and director and above. This is only, with the exception of longevity. But the 2% raise, 2% increase to the ranges only are below department head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of the 15 classifications that are listed to receive the 2% range increase, there are 52, well, I didn't count the classifications on that. 32 classifications in the unrepresented that are not receiving a 2% range increase. So, and that includes all of the department heads. Actually, I can read off some of those titles. The ones who are not included in that: assistant city attorney, assistant city clerk, assistant city manager, assistant to the city manager, budget manager, chief assistant city attorney, all of the department heads, and I think there's about 9 of them, the charter officers, government affairs manager, senior advisor to the mayor, senior council rep, senior assistant to the mayor, and supervising deputy city attorney are not included. They are only it's really ones that have comparable positions in the management group, and they are some of the lower paid ones.
Now, my understanding, I'm trying to get it loaded up here right now, but my understanding that the resolution says that they will, though, beginning 2026?
No, so only the longevity. So there's the 2% increase to the range, and then there's the longevity pay. 2% increase to the ranges are the ones that affect 15 classifications. Longevity is those same, it's everyone that is unrep. Except assistant city managers and charter officers and the director of OPSA.
Okay. Well, thank you. That gives me a little more ease, and before I can vote, I want to actually look at this again. So if I might have to lean over and look at yours here. So, okay, thanks.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Talamantes, and then Councilmember Jennings.
I think I was going to ask the same questions as Mayor Pro Tem Guerra in terms of the delays implementation of longevity pay for assistant city managers, so their pay would be the 2% in 2026?
The longevity.
Or not?
They would be eligible if they have the years of service in 2026, yes.
Okay, yeah, and I think it kind of brings up the questions that my colleague said, I want to make sure that there's retention and that we keep our employees, but at the same time, 2% for somebody making 40 grand is different than 2% for somebody making $300,000. And as thank you to my colleague, Councilmember Kaplan, for raising these questions and really getting into the weeds of 100 positions, how many people impacted, just because these type of documents have kind of been overseen in the past, and for us to get into the weeds of it and really understand it out in the open is so important. So thank you for putting it on the discussion calendar for us to really review.
I have to commend you. I've been at the city for almost 23 years, and this is the first time that we've ever had this discussion, so.
Yeah, and I think to address some of the questions that we have at the end of the day, we hire a city manager to help us with our employees. And so we have to figure out how to work with our city manager to address a lot of these questions that we have in terms of this resolution and how we go moving forward.
Thank you. Councilmember Jennings.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to be clear on the philosophy of, and I'm looking at our more tenured employees, excluding them from longevity pay. because the reason that they're here is they've been here for a long period of time, and they've served the city well. Why would we consider excluding them from longevity pay?
Only for the fact of the council rules of procedure and prior direction from maybe more the former mayor and the former council. They were not willing to provide this.
Yeah, I just, you know, having been in the workforce for a long time and managed a lot of people, we tend to look to those who have given us longevity and have worked for us for long periods of time, and we look to take care of them, continue to take care of them. And so I just think it sets a bad precedent when, in fact, they feel that they've served the city well, and yet when something like longevity pay is available for them, they're not eligible for it, even though they have more service than anybody else in the organization. So I mean, I'm trying to make sure that I'm not missing something here.
I don't think you're missing anything.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important that there is, you know, this was talked about before a few of us started, but there is this balance here where we have this longevity pay. But we do recognize, as the two prior council members spoke from Thomas, that there are some people that are extremely well compensated in the first place. So we wanted to have that for a cohort, but also recognize that certain people in the salary range are quite different than the vast majority.
Mayor, I understand exactly what you're saying. I'm just saying I don't believe that you do a disservice to those who have served you the best. I don't believe that because they make more money than other employees, which is what they would do because they've been here the longest and have served the longest and had more appraisals than anybody else in the organization. And as they go with appraisals and they get their 2% or 5% or whatever they get, that salary keeps going up. So we're punishing them for doing the work that we asked them to do. It doesn't make sense to me.
Thank you. Just a quick process question. So because of the council rules and procedures, I think what I read in there was that we have a separate, that we agendize separately charter officers, anyone who reports to the council. Is that right? So we're not saying at this point that we wouldn't or are not going to take up these items for like, let's say, longevity pay or other items for, it's just a separate item that would need to be agendized. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
My understanding also that, excuse me, that it would have to go through PP&E or some other method, correct?
That is correct.
So without having this conversation, we may not have known about this. So I, too, applaud you for bringing this up because I feel differently, and I want to be able to at least make my point to my colleagues that we do take care of our most tenured employees, right? And we try to find that balance, but at the same time, we don't want to send the wrong message to them, and then you have a gap in your employment because people have decided to go somewhere else.
Chair, I see that as a good discussion item at PP&E.
Absolutely.
City Attorney?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm glad, Councilmember Maple, because that's exactly what the rule that the HR director referred to. It is not a prohibition. It is a process by which these items get on the agenda. Mayor Pro Tem recalls you made the rule change after the previous city manager had put raises for himself on the agenda. So the rule was changed to prevent the city manager from putting anything on the agenda that affects the salary of the city manager. In this case, that's what they're referring to. It is not a prohibition. There's also been no direction from the council prohibiting this from ever happening. So it really is, it can either be put on by the mayor directly or PMPE chair, the PMPE committee can recommend that it be put on the agenda. I hope that clarifies it.
Very much so.
Okay, thank you. We have public comment on this item?
Yes, Mayor, I have one speaker, Lambert.
I was actually on the road and some family members and friends asked me to come speak to this. This is a peculiar pay schedule or pay savings. I'm glad Mr. Jennings and the other people brought this up because I didn't realize that someone can work for a company longer than other people. They're making six figures, and then the other ones are not making, I heard, $30-something thousand. When this system is set like that, you have to look at institutionalized and systemic racist practices down here too, because how did they get to those six-figure positions? Was it where you just allow people to get there because it's a good old boy, good old woman system where they say, okay, we're going to do this way? Inside City Hall, there's a group called the AAELC. I have to acknowledge them. I hope they're not part of this, but they're called the African American Employee Leadership Council, and they told me about this, and so did some other workers, and I think it's a very unfair practice, and I believe you know that. To me, if you don't give people working remotely a raise, you can save millions of dollars. I mean, what is the raise for? If you don't have to go anywhere, I mean, if you want to talk about saving money, there's a lot of people making six figures and they're not held accountable to the Brown Act. This is something I found out from the millennials. And so you got a peculiar system here, very peculiar to me.
Thank you for your comments. Mayor, I have no more speakers on this item.
Thank you. Do we have a motion for this item?
So moved.
We have a motion? Motion and a second.
Are you sure?
Like a roll. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any noes or abstentions?
Thank you, Mayor. That
None?
passes unanimously.
Yes.
Mayor, Shelley's going to do the next one.
Okay.
Say again.
Yep, next item.
So our next item is item 8, declaration of a critical need to fill the chief of staff to the mayor position and authorization to hire a retired annuitant to fill that position.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Today, we're asking Council to waive the 180-day CalPERS required waiting period to hire Maria Alvarez as a retired annuitant so that she can begin work. Maria retired with the state today, and the city needs to bring Maria on board to work as the mayor's chief of staff. The experience Maria has gained in working as a district director and senior council representative at the city and the chief of staff to the assembly, to an assembly member, provide the extensive knowledge and skill needed for the success of the mayor's office, and we request that you waive the 180-day waiting period.
Thank you. We have public comment on this item?
I do have one speaker, Mac Worthy.
Now, all we hear is raises, big-time jobs. Now, do that chief of staff come in because you choose them, or do the panel choose them? People, you got to watch some things here. Well, how much that chief of staff, you got a staff, who controlling that staff now? Or just you just got a friend you're going to bring in and stick in his hand? That seems to me. That's what I'd do with me. But I'm proud to say, you're not. And this is the reason that you can't identify the money that you have blown here. This is the reason that the newspaper have what they have, because you only study the people to get a big salary. You ain't saying nothing about those people that's been there on $20,000 or $30,000 all their life. What about them? See, you haven't brought economics to this city. You have brought debt for the past 18 years, only debt. Nonprofit organizations don't give a damn about debt because somebody gonna come with some money. You come in at $77,000, you just got $18 million in the state of California. See, that's what I'm saying. They stole the money and put it somewhere, but you all cannot oppose theft. But somebody gonna face the hammer here soon, because I'm gonna do everything I can to get something in. That we must make a change in Sacramento. We must go back to economics instead of racism. We got to do that. I've been called all kind of names, Knoxes and everything. I don't give a damn. I am that I am. And I will always be that. And what I say here, I can go across the street and utter it.
Thank you for your comments. Mayor, I have no more speakers on this item.
Thank you. Councilmember Guerra.
Thank you, Mayor. Ms. Alvarez served the city well before she left to the state, and we know she'll serve the city council and the mayor council well again, and I'll move approval.
I'll second it.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any more questions or comments from council members? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any noes or abstentions? Hearing none, the item passes.
Thank you. That passes unanimously. So, Mayor, we have moved to council comments, ideas, questions, and AB 123 reports. And then I do have 15 speakers for matters not on the agenda.
Okay, Councilmember Maple.
All right, a couple announcements. This is probably the last time I'll be announcing this, but certainly not the first. But I do want to invite the community to come out to our documentary showing. That's on February 26th at 6 p.m. at Sacramento City College. It's in partnership with the college, the Black Student Union, and we'll be showing a documentary about Verna Canson. She's from Hollywood Park. She's a former president of the Sacramento NAACP and has a long storied history of advocating for civil rights in Sacramento. And so we hope that you'll come join us for a really great discussion. We're gonna show the documentary, and then we have our panelists who are gonna discuss her life and her legacy. We're really excited about that. You can RSVP at sacd5.com/Verna, spelled VIRNA. And on Saturday, March 1st, join us for Sacktown Mardi Gras from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. They're gonna be launching from Broadway and Riverside and then traveling all the way to McClatchy Park and Oak Park. In District 5, and we're really excited. It's going to be good music, good food, and a great time, so come join us there at 11 a.m. on Broadway and Riverside. Thank you.
Councilmember Vang.
Thank you. Just a few announcements from our office, from Team Heart and Hustle. On Wednesday, actually that's tomorrow, we are having a 102 acres youth-led advocacy session from 6 to 7:30, led by our commissioners and our young professional, Savario and Marius. Just want to give them a shout out. Please join us if you're available. And then this Saturday, just want to give a shout out to Rewild Sacramento and the Tree Foundation. We have a tree planting event at Steve Jones Park from 9:30 to 1 o'clock. That's at 2331 Casa Linda Drive. I will be there in the morning, and we'll be providing some light refreshments for the tree planting. And then also just wanted to share, next week there is a summit hosted by the Stevens Foundation, Revitalize South Sacramento Summit, and that is happening at the Greenhaven Public Library at 7335 Gloria Drive, actually happening in District 7, but all South Sacramento folks are invited to that, and it's from 9 to 5 p.m. Lastly, I just want to give a shout out to my new appointee for the Children's Fund Oversight Planning Commission, Monica Maris. She was just appointed the chair of the commission. I just want to give her a shout out and really proud of her. Thank you.
Next speaker is Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. This Thursday at 6:30 is the monthly Colonial Heights Neighborhood Association meeting, and they do their first half an hour, sometimes it's an hour, social at Luigi's Pizza, and then they'll get to business right after. So join us for the Colonial Heights Neighborhood Association at Luigi's Pizza. Always some good pizza.
I didn't know that. I may just stop on by.
You should stop on by for some good pizza.
Part of our
Or
listening
pinball.
and learning tour. Thank you.
Councilmember Jennings.
I also want you to stop on by for some good cracked crab and a seafood boil. That's right, at the Elks Lodge on the evening for delicious seafood and great company at the cracked crab and seafood broil. Mark your calendars for February the 22nd at 6 p.m. Tickets may be purchased in advance by calling 916-422-6666. Once again, 916-422-6666. And then the last announcement is the Del Rio Trail Cleanup. We ask you to join us on the Southland Park Neighborhood Association, Zeeburg Park Neighbors, Del Rio Trail Enthusiasts, Pocket Area Churches, and the City of Sacramento Youth Parks and Community Enrichment Department. Parks Commissioner Joe Flores, my office will put in your sweat equity and clean up the Florin Road and Pocket Road section of the Del Rio Trail on Saturday, March the 8th at 9 a.m. More information can be found on my Facebook or Instagram page, and if you have my number, just give me a call. I'll make sure you get all the information you need. Hope to see you at one of the two events. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Councilmember Kaplan?
Thank you. Just tree planting on February 22nd at Meadows Park. If you want to come out and help us plant some trees, sign up. And then I'm giving you a heads up. It is Girl Scout season. Cookies get delivered this Saturday. Girl Scouts will be to council on February 25th to lead us in the pledge and land acknowledgement, but cookies are arriving here shortly. Welcome to the season. And then I want to give a shout out and a thanks this weekend. River City Waterway Alliance, my office, my youth volunteers, the Creeks Council, Forensic Clean. We came out to the north area of Steelhead Creek. 48 volunteers, 20 of them were first timers. We removed over 12,000 pounds of wet carpets, textiles, tarps, hundreds of chopped up bicycle parts. It was bad. It was bad. 3 illegal fish traps, 26 shopping carts, 3 office chairs, a table saw, a horse saddle, chunks of floating styrofoam, and countless other things. But I really want to thank River City Waterway Alliance. They do this every weekend, all the time, and this is so important to helping keep our waterways clean. So I just want to give an extra shout out and a thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor Talamantes?
And do my monthly office hours at Donuts and Coffee. So this Thursday, come by from 9 to 10. No RSVP. All questions, all policy, we discuss it all. Come join us.
So Mayor, I see no more council members queued up to speak. I have 15 speakers for matters not on the agenda.
Okay.
Jared Landreth, Lambert, McWorthy, Sarah D., Grant R.,
Can I speak?
please proceed.
Okay. Okay, so I'm here again, and we still have this illegal gambling in our neighborhood that's been going on for about a year and a half now. We still have people coming all day long, all night long. Okay, I don't know what's going on with it. I keep trying to get answers. Nobody's giving me answers. But that's got to stop. That's really got to stop. We can't have that here. It's in a residential area where there's people, and it's dangerous there because we've had knifings over there. I've actually seen someone shoot somebody right in front of our house. So that's disturbing. And it all comes from this place that's the gambling place. So that's got to cut out. We can't have that anymore. Okay, we need someone to get on top of it. I don't know who wants to get on top of it. I'm former FBI. I don't know what you guys are doing up here. I really don't. But that's got to stop. And as far as your homeless goes, this is the first city I've ever lived in that I've seen so much homeless. It's way out of control. Somebody's got to do something about this. There are ways of doing it to correct this problem. I know what they are. But you can't do what the former mayor did for 8 years, and that is to ignore this problem, because that's what's happened. You have pretty close to, 8,000 people that are homeless here? That's unexcusable. That should never happen. We're in a country that we have millionaires and billionaires here, even the trillionaire, and we can't figure out this problem. But we can take all this money and throw it to a war. There's billions of dollars to a war, and we can't even take care of our own homeless problem here in this country. It's unbelievable. I don't understand why that's going on. And the LA fires, as far as that goes, we don't even know if that was homeless people that created this. This is what happens. You have $24 billion that went to California for the homeless, and nobody knows where it went to. We better figure that out quick. Find out where it went to, because this problem is still going to be bad.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Lambert, then McWorthy.
I would like to, and I'm going to look across the rostrum to see who's paying attention, but I did want to say that during the Super Bowl and now heading into Valentine's, and I hope Mr. Dickerson and anybody else on the roster will reach out to us, these millennials have done it. I mean, they have really convinced me that social media is going to be a factor in this cheesecake company. And it took a while for me to catch on, but I'm on board with them now because there's no way we're going to miss it now. Now, I hear about structural deficits and things. We're not talking about that with us. We're talking about hiring people. And speaking of people, I think Grant High School Pacers have been shortchanged. They should be able to go to the Kings games. I heard a lot about children's money today. Put some of that towards them. They're teenagers. They're still excited about what they accomplished, and so are we. And so I think you should let them go to the Kings games. They like the Kings. I'm a Lakers fan. They like the Kings, so let them go. You know, you got money for that. And in terms of, I saw something positive. City Councilwoman Kaplan may be shocked, but I called her office accidentally. I was looking for two, and I got her office Monday, and it was somebody there named Jasmine, and she wasn't working remotely. She was working here. And I noticed the difference, and she did a wonderful job because I was going to come down here Monday, but the finance department is closed. I didn't know that. She told me, and what did we do? We brought her a sample of our mother's classic chocolate swirl cheesecake, which has gone viral even from her review.
Thank you for your comments. Mac Worthy, then Sarah D.
You know, you hear things and you know it's a lie because the way that you lived it. Now, how did Negro history become black history? City Council Oak Park, be careful what you're doing. I knew Bernie Council personally. We never had an economic chair in the NAACP. Why? We lost the defense trust in New York in the NAACP. Why? Now, we had nobody come here but me. That's why I didn't stand up with them because I'm not in the Black America thing. I'm a Negro. And we find out when we look at the newspaper, and then when you listen to the meeting before, we see why the scandals are there. Dixon is going to be a long ride. Going to be a long ride. So just gear up for it, because I'll support you all the way. It's a situation that we find out that we've been here, but nobody talk about helping the people on supplement incomes. Everybody talk about a big salary. Nobody talk about moving the police department to an agency that handle their own budget. Nobody say a word, do they? Every time we turn around, it's a new thing come in to be on the budget. This is the reason I stick to Trump. I make an appointment to the Republican caucus that we need some help as Republicans and go economics instead of racism. Why race got a tie to everything? I never filled out an application of a minority. I bid at government job, the FBA's the motor pool, the Social Security buildings, League of California cities for many years. So people wake up and be careful with what you're doing of black history.
Thank you for your comments. Sarah D. is our next speaker. Following Sarah is Grant R. And then Rabbi Cohen.
This past Saturday, I attended a rally organized by Sacramento for Palestine and Jewish Voices for Peace at 16th and J, carrying a sign that said, "Bring home the hostages," which should be a very non-controversial statement. I went with Mr. Rodriguez, his wife and infant son, all of whom support Israel as an article of their faith. Speakers got on the microphone, spewing abuse at us and inciting the crowd. At approximately 1 p.m., a protester tackled Mr. Rodriguez from behind, body slamming him into the concrete, stole his Israeli flag, and beat him with the flagpole. The perpetrator then ran through the crowd, displaying the flag as a trophy. I witnessed all of this. In the meantime, another perpetrator jumped on his back and started strangling him. Mr. Rodriguez was later treated for multiple injuries to his head, face, neck, chest, and leg at an area hospital. He was there until 10 p.m. No uniformed police were at the event, despite Sacramento for Palestine and JVP's known propensity for violence and vandalism. When the police finally did arrive, the first perpetrator had fled. The police then failed to secure the scene, allowed the rally to continue despite the fact that it was now a crime scene, did not call an ambulance for the visibly injured man, and refused to take my statement even though I was the victim's best and practically sole corroborating witness, among other gross deficiencies in their response. We demand accountability for the actions of SAC for Palestine, JVP, and the Sacramento PD, that the PD and the DA investigate this as a hate crime against Mr. Rodriguez, and that the City Council take all steps to ensure that Jews and their allies are actually safe here in Sacramento. For too long, we have been treated like second-class citizens, even though we have our first-class taxpayers with a first-class vote. If you doubt me, say hi to Katie Valenzuela, because she isn't here, but I still am.
Give your comments. Grant R., then Rabbi Cohen.
Mayor, council members, thank you for your time. I come here as a friend of Sarah, who just spoke. I see two real issues that have come up or that are presented by the violence that occurred over the weekend. One is the ability for the city to secure the freedom of expression for everyone in this city. I think it's fine that you're going to have the Sacramento Regional Coalition for Palestinian Rights have their protest, but if someone wants to counter-protest, they should be ensured safety in doing so. We know that these groups are violent. They're often funded by bad actors. We've even seen that activity in this very room about a year ago. I think it's important that the council members work with the police department to ensure that there is sufficient protection, not just undercover police, but affirmative police, visual police there to ensure that this type of activity doesn't happen again. Secondly, I think there needs to be better protection for the Jewish community in general in the city. We've seen constant intimidation, harassment by these types of at least purported Palestinian groups, which often are a front for just purely anti-Semitic activity. As we can see, there were even swastikas marked throughout the city over the weekend after this violent event. So I implore the City Council to please take steps to protect the Jewish community and to ensure that everyone has the ability to express their views. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Rabbi Cohen, then Sharon Z., then David Z.
Shalom, Mayor and Councilman. I didn't get a chance to congratulate the Mayor on your victory. Congratulations. I'm come here to speak about this matter. You know, many people say, should he have been there? Should he have not been there to incite them? But you got to nip it in the bud. A person should not feel afraid to state his opinion of taking hostages. We all see the hostages came out. They look like after the Auschwitz. It's horrible. So to have such a thing, we have to nip it in the bud. And I thank you all for doing a wonderful job in leading our city and our county. Since I got here 30 years ago, you guys doubled in size and tripled in size. It's a great city. So God bless you. Let's keep it safe. And no one should be afraid and intimidated. God bless you.
Your comments. Sharon Z., then David Z., and then Danny W.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Sharon. I'm a mother of 3 young children, one of your constituents. I'm a lawyer, a public servant, and I'm here to speak with my friends here in the Jewish community. I wasn't in attendance, but on Saturday, a man was violently attacked, as far as we know, for wearing a Jewish star and holding an Israeli flag. The next day, we saw swastikas graffitied in Midtown. This happened less than a month after there were swastikas at Natomas High School. This isn't random. These acts are connected. This isn't in a vacuum. Hate is ignored. Hate grows when it is ignored. I have personally felt this firsthand. I was here in this very city council location. Last time I was here was when you all were discussing the ceasefire resolution. I was too afraid to say anything, and I was verbally attacked just for sitting with other Zionists. I was called horrible names. This happened a couple weeks after I attended a pro-Palestine rally, not to instigate anything, to attend, to bear witness. And I held a small Israeli flag and played a peace song out of my backpack, like a naive fool. I was spat on and called a whore, again, for just attending. I've been too afraid to speak up, but it is really well past time for us to speak up. And I'm not here, it is not within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city of Sacramento to solving anti-Semitism, but you do have a role and you do have some power. So we're asking you here today as members of the Jewish community, please ensure that attacks like what happened over the weekend are properly investigated. Please allocate resources to the Sacramento PD to ensure that we are protected, that when we go out to these types of events, we're not faced with violence. This
Thank
is
you
really
for your
your
comments.
moment.
Your time is complete. Our next speaker is David Z., then Danny W. So following Danny is Zach M., and then Rev.
Good evening. My name is Donnie Weinstein. I'm a Greater Sacramento resident. I went to graduate school at UC Davis. I've lived here my entire life. I raised a family here. I've been part of the Jewish community both in Sacramento and the greater suburbs. Just for context, I have deep ties to Israel. My father was born and raised there. We have family history going back to the old city of Jerusalem in 1790. I've studied on exchange there. And, again, we're not going to solve the Middle East problems here in this council. However, it's shocking to what happened this past weekend. The friends of mine who came down to peacefully protest were violently attacked. And the fact that this person, our friend of ours was hospitalized. And even my friend Sarah here, the police refused to take her statement. So I think what we're trying to find out from the city council here is what action is going to be taken going forward to protect the citizens of our city to peacefully protest and to have police protection against people who are intentionally coming out to violently and hurt Jews. We're not going to stand for Germany of the 1930s to take place here on the streets of Sacramento. So I appreciate all of your time listening and look forward to your follow-up from the City Council on tangible actions that are going to be taken to protect the citizens of the city. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker is Zach M., then Rev. I have 6 more speakers.
Good evening. I'm here to speak out against a physical assault that occurred over the weekend on Saturday. A man waving an Israeli flag and wearing Stars of David was attacked in downtown Sacramento in broad daylight. Whatever our opinions are about Middle East politics, we must agree that someone being assaulted for waving a flag or wearing religious symbols cannot be tolerated in this city. Full stop. There are some who try to blame the victim of this attack for being attacked, saying that he had it coming for daring to exercise his First Amendment rights in the streets of Sacramento. This reaction cannot be tolerated either. Jews and their allies, who comprise a small, vulnerable minority in the city, must be able to demonstrate openly without fear of physical attack. If we don't recognize this as an important issue, and if we don't do something about it, we risk normalizing violence and fear in Sacramento. There are Jews in the city who are too intimidated and too defeated to even speak here tonight. Just the other week at Tahoe Park, the playground was vandalized with swastikas, which the police are investigating. This is the only city I've lived in where all the synagogues have been lit on fire by anti-Semites. We can't allow that to happen again. The city should ensure the public safety at rallies that target Israelis and Jews. From what I understand, there was no police presence at the rally on Saturday, and the police response after the attack was inadequate. Please work with the city manager and the Sacramento police to prevent this type of violence or worse from happening again in our city. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Rev. Following Rev is Cheryl Bonner, then Dia Good, Marbella Sala, then Genshin Kubacha.
Hello, Mayor, City Council.
I'm Rev of Prayer and God Street Ministry, Homeless for Heaven. Almost tired of coming in here. Tired of seeing the things on the street, like watching a young couple, 22 years old, 23, African American, made move. They had 45 minutes to move a whole bunch of junk. So here I'm breaking my back to help them pull this wagon off of the dirt. While the police were right up the street, taking all the stuff off of this RV, preparing it to be towed away, taking the dogs. The youngster came up and got the dogs and rescued them. But it's just so much I see out here on even a violent area, hearing about the rapes, hearing about everything that's going on. And I work from one district all the way around to the 8th. You know, so I know my people, I know what they need, and it's the simple things that I can get them to working with. And once again, tools in the truck. I bet you got a truck at home, don't you, Miss Maple? Give it up so I can go work with these people and get them something to do instead of sitting around all day wasting their days and nights, you know, because they keep getting harassed by the police every single day. You know, they all coming up in my window like I'm going to let them all sleep in my limousine. I can't do it. I would if I could. And McCarthy, I mean, I didn't vote for you or nobody else. I don't do that. But I see you spoke up about places that are abandoned and like right across the street from Cesar Chavez Park. You know, open that door and they'll go in there and clean that place up and repair everything, paint everything, and let them have that. You know? I got 4 nonprofits and one of them is federal exempt. Somebody needs to help me to help them. I don't know how to do all the paperwork. I'd attack you on the level of that. A little paralegal that sleeps right across the street from City Hall. He's right out there right now. You know, his mind's so twisted because he's stuck back in the street, can't get a stupid tent. I'm like, man, it's bigger than a tent. It's bigger than a tent. But I'm going to start bringing them here, anybody, dirty as they can be, smelly as they got to be, so they can talk to you guys about what they keep going through.
Thank you for your comments. Our next
Bless you
speaker is Cheryl Bonner, then Dia Good.
Hi, how are you? I am a Natomas homeowner. I did not buy my house next to a water well. I have spoken to the water company and they said I should not have bought next to it. Only problem is it was built in 1959. My father-in-law was a sheriff. It was farm field. My husband's very sick and I'm being asked to drop the price of my home anywhere from $50,000 to $200,000 because of the well. People are driving up and just leaving. I've called my local council member's office. I've spoken to the water department and they said they do have a program to buy things, but they said, well, you shouldn't have bought there. I didn't. It was an inheritance and my husband was in a motorcycle accident. We have been trying to move for 5 years. I have a custom built home with a pool and a massive lot. Other homes are selling for $100,000, $200,000 over asking since the height of the market. We're still sitting 5 years later and I can't get any help. I cannot afford to drop my price $50,000 to $200,000. That is basically the same price as a house that needs to be gutted when mine is custom built. I don't know who can help me, but my husband needs to be moved. He has spinal and brain injury, excuse me. If anybody has someplace I can call.
Can Assistant City Manager Ryan Moore, can you just see if there's any other resources that you can help this lady with?
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Dia Good.
Good evening. I was here last week, but didn't have copies of my handout, so it may have been difficult to track what I was saying. The animal shelter posted the attached ubiquitous language to warn owners if their lost pet ended up at Front Street and wasn't received by the end of the stray period hold, it could be transferred to some place else, even out of state. The problem is that they don't state what the stray hold is. So how would anyone know? Would your neighbors know? Would anybody here, sitting here, know what the stray hold period is? I'm looking at this from the perspective of owners who have lost their pets. Think of it as receiving a needs action warning letter from the IRS that doesn't mention when the action must be taken. For transparency and clarity, the language needs to state that the stray hold is 72 hours. The handout shows a mock-up of this non-substantive, it's just a 4-word clarification. So I'm asking that the language be fixed. Also last week, I mentioned if your neighbor's cute poodle got out and was taken to Front Street, it could immediately be prioritized for transfer. But worse than that, the shelter claims on page 2 that pets can be transferred during their stray hold. That's against the law. Pets can't be transferred during the 72-hour straight period. So I'm asking the city manager to please stop this unlawful practice. It needs to be immediately dealt with. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Marbella Sala and then Jensen Kubacha will be our final speaker this evening.
Good evening. First, I want to just state that I agree that anyone and everyone should feel safe in Sacramento, despite your immigrant status or your opinion. So I support that. And I was hesitant in coming up and saying anything, but I feel like I must make a comment. Just for the recent article that came out in the Sacramento Bee, I'm not sure what all is really going on. I'm not sure all the details and whether it's true or not. What caught my attention, and I just want to bring it to your attention and see if in the future something can be done, is that the $250,000 that the city manager has at his or her discretion, I get that. It makes sense because you want to be able to move things along and not be bogged down. There's too much work. What caught my attention was the appearance of impropriety, because wink, wink, you do me a favor, I'll do you a favor, and I'll give you, as long as it's below $250,000, I can sign the contract. Oh, maybe I can do it again, and I can sign it again and again. And it appears, I'm not saying that that's what happened, but it appears that one organization got $1.5 million with the wink, wink kind of arrangement, and another one got more. And what I'm asking is that there be some check and balances. Like if that city manager has the authority to 250, but maybe in that 500,000 goes to one organization, it come back to city council, that there be some accountability so it's not just seen as what we saw in the B, that there be some accountability and not just you can do these 250,000 here and there and it adds up. So thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Jensen?
Hello, City Council. How you doing, Mayor? Everybody. Thank you for hearing me. Basically, I'm coming again. My family's home is on the Sacramento City property, my houseboat, and it's just molding away everything, all my belongings, all my kids' mattresses, all my kids' clothes are just molding. They have not told me nothing about anything. If they took my boat legally, then I would have nothing to say right now, and I wouldn't feel like none of you guys are on the hook. But they took my boat illegally because I wasn't given any notice, and the Sacramento City Code says I have to have 48 hours notice to move my boat before they take it. And they didn't have any record of the impound for up to 2 weeks at 911. So I'm just asking that someone returns me a phone call, maybe my district member, Mr. Pluckybomb, or someone from the mayor's office or the city manager's office with helping me reimburse me and my family, because that was everything I had, my whole home for over 5 years, all my business, equipment, everything we have. And so there's a lot of money getting shifted around. I just don't want my family to get forgotten. And I'm just asking this because it's I'm about to start reporting every one of you to, if you don't operate by the Constitution, and I will be handing out affidavits to each and every one of you stating the constitutional law that you wrote, and it will be, I just don't want it to get
Thank
to
you
that
for your
point.
comments. Mayor, we have no more business to come before the council, but I believe we have an adjourn in memory.
Yes, we do. Yes, Vice Mayor Talamantes.
All right. God, this was a tough one. So I'm just going to read off Facebook because it took me a long time over the weekend to figure out how to put my feelings into words. And sometimes that's hard when somebody passes away in your community that you're so close to. So over the weekend, we lost Z. Wayne Johnson. He was my police review commissioner. He was my friend. He was my, somebody that I sought for advice, for mentorship. And I first met him when I decided to run for city council. And everyone said, you must come talk to Z, you must come talk to Z. And I was like, okay. And they're like, he might run for city council. And I was like, okay. And I sat down with him at a local Starbucks and sat there for more than an hour, 2 hours. And he was just like, you're smart. You got this. I'm not going to do it because it's time for the next generation. It's time for the next generation to lead. And he's like, I will support you, and let's do this. Let's make our community better. And so I really took him at his word. And, in the last 3 years of my life, I've leaned very heavy on him. His expertise in transportation, in politics, and government. Learned about him being in New York during 9/11 and how he had to spring into action and lost so many coworkers and so many loved ones out there. And he just really shared his life with not just me, but my entire District 3 community, working on the redistricting commission so that District 3 can be full in coordination with Councilmember Pluckybaum, really just listening and trying to find common ground. And he passed away over the weekend, and his family's coming into town on Thursday. And we're just going to really miss him in the community. He's very much loved. And I'm just really going to miss him, and I'm not going to cry right now because I already did that over the weekend. We'll do it more. But it's really just a reflection of who he was as a leader. And, I always say there's a poem where you could do Live Your Dash. And if you haven't read it, always read it. Chief recited it recently at a service. But, in a tombstone, there's 2 dates, the day that you're born and the day that you pass away. And that dash is everything in between. And that dash represents your culture, your memories, the family you built, the friendships that you did. And for me, that dash is the most meaningful thing of a tombstone, And when I think about Z's dash, I just think about knowledge, respect, wisdom, kindness, giving back, and just being a participant of the community. And I think it's something that we all as public servants aspire to be and why we do what we do. And I'm just really grateful that he lent me the last 3 years of time in me as Karina. And so just rest in peace to Z. Wayne Johnson.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, for sharing that. And I just want to conclude that I had the chance to meet Mr. Johnson the last couple of years as his assembly member and as somebody running for mayor. I met him at a Roca Park event and saw him out there, and he invited me over and talked about his hopes and dreams for the city. And I reflect that, as you said, that he served in a professional capacity for 43 years with distinction, and he signed up to be a city commissioner and neighborhood association president. So took all the hits and did all the work like we do, but he didn't do it for fame nor fortune, but because he cared in the community. So I join you in sharing our condolences to the community and his family, and ask that the city of Sacramento adjourn his memory. Thank you. Mr. Dickinson.
If I can join, this is news to me, so I'm very sorry to hear about this. But Z was an integral part of the regional transit staff for many years, and I had the pleasure of working with him as a member of the Regional Transit Board. He was a critical part of bringing service to all, and many of us have served on the Regional Transit Board, and we appreciate what the organization does, and Z was absolutely foundational to the work that was done for many years at Regional Transit. And then I had the good fortune to re-encounter him as a community activist. And the thing about him that has always remained with me is his absolutely upbeat approach to everything. He was positive about all things, convinced that you could always get done what you set out to do. So it was no surprise, in a sense, to run into him in a second capacity beyond his employment, where I'd first known him. And I think you can say, without any question, that he has left a legacy in Sacramento in so many different ways of making the community better for all of us.
Thank you. With that, we will adjourn in memory of Mr. Z. Wayne Johnson.